For joining us again for another episode of The Wealth Effect with myself, Nicole Williams. We have the amazing Jason Allen John.
How's it going? How's it going? How you doing today?
Good, good, good. How has your week been?
My week's been exciting to say the least. Lots of
Yes,
going on.
yes,
It's a busy spring market, so I have a lot of deals on the go. So
yes,
it's been a great week for that.
yes. And you know what? And the good thing is now, at least we're seeing some hope. We're out of the stay-at-home order for those of us who are in Ontario. We're out of the stay-at-home order.
For some people.
For some people, right? And then I think as of this week, Peel and Toronto.
Well, they're saying the 22nd. I think some of it is I think Durham's open. Halton region.
Okay.
I think Niagara is in the gray zone. So I guess some light at the end of
Some
the tunnel. So.
Yes, and I think that's what I was kind of saying. Was at least we're getting hopeful. The kids are somewhat getting back to school, so we're hoping that we can get some semblance of like normality. If we want to put it that way.
How's the homeschool going for you?
Well, thankfully they are back in school. My kids, my daughter who's in high school will be going back next week because she's in York region. But I'm telling you, it was something.
I'm sure a lot of parents can share that experience.
Yes.
I don't have no kids, so I wasn't able to, I didn't have to deal with that. But, I had to deal with a lot of Zoom calls with clients where I hear kids in the background and then just, work schedules and being adjusted. I've had to do a lot of late night calls with clients. I feel like usually the lunchtime calls that I get people that they have on break, I'm not getting that right now.
Yes,
so.
Yes, because there's no time. So you mentioned, how busy you have been with the spring market, and I will definitely echo the same thing. How has your clients been boating so far? Like, as far as, are they getting their offers accepted? Because for me, I would say, I have gotten a couple clients that got their offers accepted, but it's been, the massive amounts of offers, like 49 for one client. There was one client that was up against 35 different offers. Yeah. So it's very aggressive out there. How are your clients finding the market?
It's the same thing. I think right now preparation is very key. Being ahead of the game. We're getting all these offers with no conditions of financing. So we got to just scramble and get things together for people right away.
Yes.
But I think one thing that I've been very key on is the existing homeowners. I've been trying to work with a lot of people. I think we talked about a little bit about just refinancing and taking out equity and being prepared for any opportunities may arise, right?
Yes.
I think, yes, for homeowners, for new homeowners or people looking to upgrade, it's great to be prepared, but also for people who are just really just, you own your home. Maybe you're sitting on some equity and the market looks a little hot. Maybe you're not interested in doing something right now, but it's about action and being prepared for when those opportunities arise. Because you know how it is. Like right now, if you're not ready, then how are you going to actually, take advantage of those opportunities?
Yes, that's so key. And that's the thing. It's about preparing for the moments. We know the market, everyone is pretty much on par when they're saying that they don't see a slowdown in what we're experiencing. The spring market technically started, I don't think we even had a winter market. Like, we're just going straight in, and so there hasn't been any slowdown. There hasn't been any, been any opportunity for people to feel as though, okay, let me get in and see how I can do this. No, you really need to prepare yourself, right? Now more than ever, you need to prepare yourself, get organized so that even when you are facing, let's say 39 other offers, you are confident in what you are able to offer and within your budget and, move with confidence, and then again, for those people who already own their home, it's really about looking at what we can do to maybe tap into some of the equity, taking advantage, leveraging at this moment, because other opportunities may not necessarily present itself the same way that it is in today's current market.
Yeah. Like it's, you have to be ahead of the game.
Yes.
So, and I think what everyone needs to be focused on is what they can afford. Because right now it's hard to determine what what a house is worth. Like I
It
had a
is.
customer the other day, they bought a house in Whitby in 2019
Yes.
for 590, and they just sold it for 850. Like these
Wow.
type of results, and these
So they
type
bought
of,
it again. Repeat that, because
so
I think
they
I
bought
missed
it
what you just
so
said.
they bought it for 590
590
in 2019. So I did the mortgage for them, and then we were just talking about some stuff and just doing the calls, and then, you know, I was just like, what did one of their neighbors sold, I think, for like 790.
Wow.
And then they were like, let's put it up for sale. So they put it up 850. Yes. Wow. So like that type of return on investment is crazy. And I personally think that's also drawing the market hysteria as well, because people are coming with high down payments, and they're able to manage, you know, the ability to put down enough for that 20-30%, whatever it is, to qualify for that mortgage.
That is
and with
crazy.
The decrease in the payments, like, you know, I was speaking with another one of my clients, is like, these rates going down from last year, like 3.3 to right now, like 1.7. You know, in some cases, it's almost $1,000 people are saving monthly. Yes. So like, then they're like, oh, I could buy a house with $1,000 more. Yes. And all of a sudden that house you would have bought last year for 850, you may pay $1 million because your mortgage monthly payment's the same. It's the same. So, you know, it's an interesting market. And I think, you know, everyone needs to be prepared. But it seems like our guest is here. Yes. So we are so happy and excited to welcome to the Wealth Effect the amazing Laideen Dockery. Laideen, you want to say hi to the people?
Hi guys, hi everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yes, yes.
That's great. Great to have you. Great to have you. And we're excited to just have you know, an expert like yourself at this time.
I know.
We were just talking about people being ready and planning to purchase a home in this crazy housing market. Yes. So what better than to have someone like yourself to discuss these topics with us, right?
Laideen, do you want to perhaps give us a bit of a bio, just a bit of your background? So for anyone who may be not familiar with who you are and what role you play in this amazing, circle of the wealth,
The wealth effect.
The wealth effect, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, my name is Laideen. I am the owner of Laideen Co Financial Group Ltd. It's basically a boutique financial consulting company that just focuses on building wealth in the community. So I started the company in 2015. I've been in the financial industry for a lot longer than that. I was in there for 13 years prior to going on my own and starting the company. My main objective was to really help those who don't have much financial literacy, just by providing more information, because I am a firm believer that, the more that you know is the more that you do, and the better you'll do as well, right? Whenever you see a society and they're kind of struggling financially, I put it on the advisors, to be honest. You're only as good as the advice that you get.
Yes.
So I said, you know what? I have to be out here making a change. There's some wonderful folks out here doing it. And I was like, you know what? We really have to come together and really push to create financial literacy, to ensure that our people are actually participating in the wealth game.
Yes. So that makes a lot of sense. So you said you started your business, but you're in the financial service industry for 12 years prior to that. How did you start? Like, I always say, like, people don't grow up and say, I want to do finance. So.
Yeah.
It's actually such a interesting story, because I grew up, I'm very creative. So I was, going into the interior design and architecture field. Okay. And I went to the University of Toronto for architecture. And it's so funny, because I chose architecture because it still had that level of numbers involved in it. I'm very number driven. I love numbers, and I'm very good at numbers. So I went into architecture. While I was in university, I actually got a job in finance. So I was going to school and also working at one of the major banks. I ended up doing really well there, and just kept getting promoted, moved around, shuffled around. So I got to know quite a bit of different different sectors of the finance industry. And it was really interesting to me. Upon graduation, I could not find a job within the architecture field. And I was offered multiple jobs within the finance industry. So I ended up just going where the money was. And I was like, okay, and I did get one offer in architecture, but in terms of like what they were offering versus what the finance industry was offering, I decided to go with finance. And so, but I never had any intention of being in this industry. It just ended up being my passion, and I was really good at it. So that's just where I ended up going. But I do see a lot of correlations. Excuse me if I'm just so chatty. You guys gotta have.
No, we love it. We love it.
Jump in and like rescue yourselves from me just talking the whole time, because I tend to be a little bit chatty. But in terms of architecture, I see it very similar to financial planning. You have to basically, it's all about planning. You have to see a vision afar off. You have to create a plan, and it has to be, and you have to manage the creation of that plan to see the actual finished product. So I see it very similar. It's just now that we're dealing with planning in a financial sense.
I love that, the correlation between the two. I would have never even like thought about that. So the fact that you even brought that to your own forefront, it's like, okay, well, you know what, it's kind of one and the same in the sense, you know, the foundational pieces are the same. As you said, the numbers, how you you know, start with a plan and then seeing it to fruition, it's exactly the same. And it's amazing, you know, to know that it's there.
That I always say, because like, for example, with architectural or planning, you got to do something that doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
So you're kind of taking a piece of land that could be like a parking lot and turn it into a 40-story building.
Correct.
But it doesn't start when I see those cranes in the ground. It starts long before that.
Yep.
And the thing about financial planning is, and compound interest and time value of money, it's about doing things early that will reap the benefits later. Like it's like you never really see things until it's like years later, but you have to plan them out. So that's really interesting. And you know, we have a connection there, because I wanted to do architecture, but I didn't even go as far as you did. I couldn't draw a lick. So in high school, I was like, I'm gonna go straight for the numbers. We're related. And you know, the other thing I want to say is that it's interesting how, you know, the bank is such a great place to work. I worked at the bank. I know Nicole did too.
Yep.
But it's amazing how it sucks people in that don't
even
ever
know.
want to be there, and it all end up as a banker. Right?
It's so true, because the both of you architects, I wanted to be a lawyer, and here we are, right?
Yeah, so.
Here we are.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is that I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, it's really, like, I'm so passionate about it. You know, I'm working alongside you amazing folks. Like, you get to meet so many people who are like-minded, and I wouldn't change it. I'm absolutely content, and yeah.
Yes, definitely. So just to kind of go into a little bit of some icebreaker questions, especially in the world that we're living in now, you know, I just wanted to know, what do you do to practice self-care? Because we want to give the viewers a holistic approach. So yes, money, finance, wealth building, they're all important. But when we're talking about living a wealthy life, it involves the whole circle. So again, that could be mental health, financial health, physical health. There's so many things. So how do you practice self-care in these, especially in these times?
Absolutely. I'm glad that you brought this up, Nick, because I really struggle with the self-care piece. I really try to incorporate it. As an entrepreneur, as you know, we can be stretched thin. I'm a mother, you know, I also have the business, and that takes up quite a bit of time. But I do try to get it in. I love, I love spa days. I'm a girly girl at heart. I love spa days, baths, all those things that will, you know, wind you down. I don't love going to the gym, but I do it. I do it because I know it's something that I have to also take care of. I also like to spend quality time with my family. That's something that I really take, whether it's just watching a movie or, you know, playing a game or just having conversations. That's my like downtime. I make it a point to have family dinner with my children and my partner every evening.
That's
Oh,
good.
wow, that's amazing.
We sit down and we have dinner together as a family. We discuss the day. And these are the little moments to me that keep me balanced
Mhm.
and, not totally consumed with work, as that can happen.
I love that. Back to the family dinners, I think there has been a lot of blessings throughout this, pandemic. And I think reconnecting with the cores of what family time looks like is one of the things that I'm hearing from a lot of friends, family, as well as clients, just getting back to the basics. So sitting down, planning and carving out that time for family dinner is so key. So key. I love that.
Yeah, I love to hear that too. Like, you just spend a lot of time with what's important and what's close to you. But I can relate to you as an entrepreneur. It's crazy
Yes,
to try to do all the things because we have limited time. I always say, I'm trying to bend time, bend time.
Yes.
So, just one other question, like to lead in, just to get a little bit to know about you, like. In order to be an entrepreneur, so obviously you're working at the bank and then you decided to go out on your own. So in order to go out on your own, just, because even myself working there, everyone's like, stay, the pension's good, everything's amazing. Why would you leave? You're on your way to executive. So there must have been something in you that realized it. So there must have been a little bit of a difference. So tell us maybe what that was that allowed you to become this entrepreneur you are today.
Yes, absolutely. So, really what it was that I was seeing that I was not fulfilled. There was a small gap where I was working at a telecommunications company. I made a leap just in terms of management because I was hired in the management role. And I made a leap to, because the money, right? The money sounded good. So you make a leap. And then I just realized I was not fulfilled at all. And I also, at the time, my youngest son, he was not even 2, he was 1, and I was out quite late at night, working the job that I had. And I just remember saying, this is not right for me. I know I'm great in finance. I thought I could transfer over my skills. I'm really not happy with what's happening right now. And then I think the straw that kind of breaks the camel's back, what really happened was my mother was retiring. And I looked at her retirement situation, what it would look like, what her life would look like in retirement. And here I am. My mom, she's 60. She was 66 at the time of retirement. She had been working as a nurse full time for her entire career. Ending up her career earning over 100,000 annually, and didn't have enough really for retirement. And she had a great pension through her work, but she just didn't, know to overfund. The state of her finances, it was not in a good state. She was leveraged in debt. She had a lot of things going on. I sat down with her and I said, Mom, did anyone ever talk to you about your finances? And she said, no one's ever spoken to me, ever in her whole life. She just basically just went into the bank, did whatever she thought to do herself. And then here she is now in retirement, struggling. Life insurance policies weren't in order, so many things at such a late age. And I was thinking, if somebody just did this for her, early on, she would never be in that situation. I think that was really where I said, you know what, I'm actually going to just take this leap and just go out and do this, go back into the financial industry, go back into, I did work a little bit back in the financial industry with a company. And then I went, and they still weren't interested in what I was interested in, which was, I was really interested in women of color. And I kept getting told everywhere that I was that there's no money there. Why would you focus on that group? There's no money there. That's what I was hearing from the higher ups. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to prove you guys wrong. There is money there. They just need education. And I'm going to set off on this journey to do that.
Well, I love that. That sounds amazing. But we're about to go on a break, Laideen. So we just want to just reintroduce the show. This is myself, Jason Allen John. This is The Wealth Effect. This is Nicole Williams. We have Laideen.
This is Jamie Sparks, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Hey, this is Jermaine Robbins, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Yo, this is Kiana Quinn, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
This is Lavinia J from the UK, and you're listening to iLive Radio.
Attention, all musicians, bands, associations, clubs, and organizations that represent collective styles of music across Canada. Now is the time to rebuild our collective music nation. Genres like hip-hop, R&B, jazz, soul, reggae, gospel, and more united. The Collective Music Nation is a non-profit organization committed to the development of collective music. Free memberships are available now. Collective Music Nation. One voice, strength in unity.
This is Miss Care keeping you connected with your iLive 5x5. Brought to you by iLive Music. Sponsored by Independent Hype and powered by The Hook Entertainment. Contribute to the conversation by using hashtag iLive5x5.
For the latest and greatest in soul music and more, stay tuned to iLive Radio throughout the week.
Connect with our team at iliveradio.com or follow us at iLive Radio across social platforms. The number one hit music station.
You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us another Saturday morning for The Wealth Effect with myself, Nicole Williams. We have Jason Allen John, and we are joined by the amazing Laideen Dockery of Laideen Co. So just before we went on break, Laideen was giving us her, her why as to how and why she really took the financial advisory role, like super
serious,
personal and serious, right? Through the story of her mom and the share of her mom, which, we were both saying that we absolutely love that share because, this lets us know that it wasn't just about the money, because up until this point, the jobs that you were kind of propelled into were based on the money, the dollar sign, and then for you guys, at that point, when you decided to really take the financial industry serious, it was less about the money and more about how can I have a positive impact on the lives of my community, my family, my friends, and, build out something that was greater than just yourself, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's great, man. It's great to hear. And it's, even like for, a woman of color to promote financial literacy in our community, which is lacking. And, it's interesting right now because I feel like, because the way the stock market is going on and Bitcoin and all this kind of news, I feel like everybody is trading stocks or everybody's trying to get into this financial space. So I'm curious to know, are you seeing an influx of people that are coming to you for advice, or do you find people are just coming to you telling you hot tips in what they're doing?
Yes.
I'm seeing a lot of an influx in people coming to me with advice. I would say that it's a mix. I do have some people who are, a little bit further along in the investment game. And so they're a little bit more sure of where they want to be in terms of investment, what investment vehicles they want to do. But I will say the majority of individuals coming in, and there is a huge interest in stock and in investing at the moment, which is great. I love to see this among our people, to be honest. But a lot of them are coming in just asking, how to get started, right? They're hearing a lot of the hype that's going on about investing. They're hearing people talk about money, which is an amazing thing, because I always encourage open conversation about money. So when people are hearing their friends and family saying that they're making this, they're doing this through their investments, it triggers a lot of people to come to me to say, hey, I want to get started, but I don't know where to start.
Yes. And you know what is so not funny, but it's almost like when we look back, when, the pandemic first hit, I know it was a totally different conversation. People were panicking. People were like, my goodness, let me sell, let me whatever. So the conversations you had at that point were about, this is a long-term game. And I know you and I discussed that. So how do you see the difference between when the pandemic first started to where we are now, as far as people's level and confidence in the marketplace?
Absolutely. So when the pandemic first hit, I was just overwhelmed, bombarded by all my clients, just wondering, what's going to happen with their funds, like, should they be withdrawing? What should they do? And I just really advise them that this is temporary, right? And these things happen. It's nothing new. They happen. As soon as, there's a game changer happening, like a pandemic, a global pandemic, you're definitely going to see that affecting the market. I told them to hold on, just wait it out, and don't pull out while you're down. We'll wait it out and ride it through, right? And I'll keep a watch on it and just kind of inform you of, what our options are at that time. I'm so glad, like, I have these conversations with them all the time, just saying, aren't we glad that we just wrote it out, because the market just rebounded so amazingly. And now it's also built the confidence of the investors to understand these roller coasters, which are absolutely normal when it comes to the market.
Yes. And that's the difference between receiving advice, right? Because had you just been an order taker, which a lot of people tend to be, you would cash them right out, right? And just said, okay, not a problem. I don't want to deal with the headache. I don't want to deal with trying to explain to them, the different cycles of a market. Let me just cash them out. So that is the difference that advice definitely will make.
Absolutely, Nick. I'm so glad that you said that, because there is this trend. A lot of times people are saying, I'd like to save on fees, so I'm just going to do everything myself, right? But I mean, you don't have that individual who's there looking out for your best interest that can say, hey, now might not be the best time to sell, or hold off, and or what you're, maybe if you're interested in a specific trend that's happening, advice can tell you that this might be a short-term trend, right? So if you are going to take advantage of it, do it for the short term. But people generally, a lot of individuals who are just getting started, they don't know when to buy, when to sell. Right? So it's really good to have that advice that comes with having an advisor.
And even just someone to talk to too, because it's like, if you're like, I've traded stocks myself and I've done these things, and you get emotional when you're watching stuff. You're paying attention to numbers, and you sometimes forget what your goals are. So so that's the point of like when they say like having a coach or having an advisor, is that we're supposed to help take that emotion out of that you're feeling, because we know, like, hey, stay in the game.
Absolutely.
This is part of the plan. You knew this was gonna happen. Like, it's just that I sometimes say that we're like therapists, because we're just really sitting there trying to instill confidence into our clients. So it's really good. I think that we provide that moral support to people.
It's so true.
It's so true. And I'm so glad that you said that, Jason, because you hit on something really important, which is financial goals, right? So that is a main thing. That is the beginning, right? What are you investing for, right? What is the purpose of this investment? And I think when you're really clear on the financial goal itself, then you're not as moved, right? As opposed to, I just want to make money, or other people are doing this. The financial goal is so individual to you, right? So, and so should your investing. It should be so individual to who you are, right? And what your goals are. So absolutely.
And you know what, I just wanted to touch on, yesterday I made a post on Instagram, and it was just talking about, do you talk to your children about money, right? And such an overwhelming response to that post. And I know you shared, Laideen, in the comments there. So do you speak to your children about money? And then how do parents who perhaps themselves are naive, don't really have the information, don't even know where to start themselves, how do you advise your clients that perhaps are similar to have similar conversations with their children?
Yeah, absolutely. What a great question, Nick. And such an amazing post that you did yesterday. I absolutely speak with my children about finances. And I grew up in a household where we did not discuss money. My mother was a single mother, and there was a lot, she struggled a lot. Although she didn't have to, but she just didn't know where to turn. So I often promote, healthy conversations with your children, helping them to understand, you're giving them an advantage when you do that. Even for me, I think I spoke with you. I wrote on the post, Nick, about my own daughter when I was explaining to her, she was about 5, and I was explaining to her what it means to be an entrepreneur. Like when you work for yourself and you're making your own money, and you have your own hours and people are depending upon you. And she ran into her room, got a $20 bill, and she said, "Mommy, put this to the work," right? And I was so blown away because she didn't even understand that what she's saying. She's saying she wants to invest in my company, basically. And just by having these conversations, it gets their minds turning. This is a 5-year-old brain that is not even understanding what she's saying or what she's doing, but in investing $20 in a company, you would get a return.
Yes.
As the company does well. So I promote speaking with your children, and if people don't know where to start, I would say start with their own financial literacy and their own financial education. The more that you know, it just flows easily. You can speak confidently about things the more that you know. So I would say just finding accurate information for yourself, and then you're able to transfer that down to your children.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like that, all that is key when it comes down to it. So what is important when it comes to just, starting out? I think we could focus on a couple of people, like people who do have some prior knowledge, but, just like somebody who's like, maybe they save in the bank account, they get some advice from maybe the brand. So they invest in some mutual funds or whatever is like kind of given to them, but there's no plan of action. So
like a novice investor.
Yeah, like a novice investor. Say they come into your office and they just want to hear about the services that you offer, because it's not just investment advice. So
no. Yeah. So I'm a holistic financial advisor. So what I do is I look at all aspects of your finances. So sometimes I will have clients that come in and they're coming in, for a specific reason. Maybe they want to attack their debt. Maybe they want to increase their savings or investment knowledge. But I do look at every aspect. So I would suggest for a novice individual who's just looking at starting out, wanting to get their finances in order, number one, book an appointment with an advisor that is trusted and that is maybe referred to you, or you think that your personalities will gel. That's number one. Having advice is key in finance. Number two, like, you can do it alone, don't get me wrong, but just think how further you can go with, like you were saying, Jason, a coach or somebody alongside to assist you. And then we look at everything. So I look at from budgeting to debt repayment to your insurances, life insurance, critical illness. These are major components of your financial plan. And then investments. And to be honest, a lot of people are interested in investments, but investments is really high on the hierarchy of wealth building, right? The basis, is a financial plan, and then from there it should be financial protection, and then we go forth. What I'm seeing is a trend in people having investments and not having the building blocks in place of their financial plan.
Yeah.
So like the protection piece.
Yeah, the protection piece, budgeting in order, debt repayment in order, right? Because it depends. If you are investing in and you're getting a good return, your return has to be higher than if you're holding credit card debt, for example. Your debt is growing at a larger rate than your investments in some cases.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not getting a higher return on your investments than your debt is growing, then you're actually not in order financially.
And then the other thing that you and I have discussed this many times, but a lot of people don't even realize that a lot of wealthy people use insurance as a tactic to build wealth. Do you want to share a little bit on that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of investments it comes down to taxation, right? So it's very important when you're thinking about an investment that you're also thinking about how that investment is going to be taxed, because that impacts the overall amount that you made on that investment, right? If you have tax deductions or you have to pay taxes on interest or on capital gains, then it's not a true reflection when you just look at what your return was. You have to incorporate the tax. With life insurance, that is the only investment vehicle, well, other than the TFSA, that it's tax sheltered, right? So you're growing all of you have the ability with certain life insurance policies to grow the investment without having to report it as income or report the earnings to the government. So it's not taxed. So a lot of wealthy people use life insurance, and that's only one aspect. There's so many different scenarios in how you can use life insurance, but a lot of wealthy people do use life insurance to grow their retirement funds, grow a lot of things, because it's growing in a tax-free sheltered state.
Yeah.
So
you know what, where it really hit for me, I always heard what you're referring to, Laideen, and we've had these conversations, but where it really hit to me, where I was like, okay, well, really, this is something that the wealthy really have been utilizing, is when Ted Rogers had passed away. And they were saying that because of the size of his estate, had his estate now had to actually pay the taxes upon his death, it would have been like, I can't remember how much the tax bill would have been, but it was insurance that he had set up that covered all of that estate tax, So it's even things like that, those little tactics, but these are the kinds of conversations and that we really need to have, amongst our friends, family, colleagues, on a global aspect, and be really in tuned with, because this is how wealth is built. Wealth isn't just built by, just saving money in a savings account, or, perhaps just buying that one stock, or even maybe just buying, that one piece of real estate. There's so many different components that can go into the wealth building phase. And as you start getting more knowledge, getting more confidence, then you start adding on new layers. And that's why it is great, back to what Jason has said and you have said, it's having a team behind you that can help guide you. Because yes, you can do it on your own, but are you ensuring that you're covering all the bases?
Absolutely. You hit it right on the head. Like Ted Rogers is a prime example of wealthy needing life insurance. Most people that, if they have quite a bit of capital, they're saying, it's okay, I don't need life insurance because I could pay for my taxes myself, or I can, well, nobody does that, right? Nobody would actually pay out of their estate for their taxes. It's a lot cheaper to use a life insurance policy to do that and keep the funds intact in the estate. So you're bringing up an amazing point. And life insurance, I think we just are a little bit, as a whole, maybe have been a little bit behind in terms of understanding these concepts. But it's definitely time to start, understanding them, so that we can make sure that we're participating in the wealth that's being generated in this country.
Definitely.
Yeah, because what I find is like a lot of people lead with the risks of things and why it's scary to do certain stuff. So like using life insurance, or using leverage to increase your investments and stuff like that. So I find that, it's just because they're like forbidden, scary topics, and no one comes home and talks about it. It's like, I'm never sitting with my friends and like, oh, let me tell you about my life insurance plan, right? It's almost like I'm sure we talk about it with our friends because we're in the industry. Generally, people don't share that type of information, right? So it's all about that plan. And like, I stress to my clients, especially anybody who is starting to build wealth and they want to leave a legacy with their assets, that they have to plan for what's going to happen after, because like it becomes a total mess. I've been involved with clients with the estate's a mess, and they don't have a will, or they don't have insurance set up. And I've also, worked with people that unfortunately have had to deal with, medical issues, and they didn't have the adequate insurance. And sometimes it's just like that little bit of, that additional, like I always tell my clients, like I understand some people who don't want to buy life insurance on their properties, but I always say like you need some sort of critical illness or disability insurance. There's nothing worse than having something and not having money to pay for it. So you can't work and you're on your debt, right? So you're gonna go buy this massive asset. You're gonna spend all this money. And you spend maybe $100 on critical illness and disability. You don't want to spend it.
I know.
So, you know, so it's honestly, it mind boggles me. And, you know, I've personally been through a situation with my family, and I remember having this discussion, and it was like $30 and they didn't want to pay the $30. And then they got into, you know, unfortunately an accident, and it was hard. Like if you gotta go through like auto insurance to sue, it's like difficult, right? So if you have the adequate insurance there while you're still going to do this lawsuit, but like while you're waiting, you know, it's very important. So it's all part of pillars of financial literacy and understanding. Like we are partners, and in order for our clients to build wealth, we have to work together, because it's not just about getting a mortgage and running away. It's not just about getting life insurance. It's all the things combined, right?
Correct. And that's when we talk about a holistic wealth approach, right? So no, I'm definitely happy for this conversation. We are getting close to our next commercial break, but before we do, I think we have enough time to ask. So Laideen, are you a book or a podcast person?
I'm a book person.
Okay. And what was the last book that you've read?
Actually, I read, the last book that I read was Gucci Mane's Guide to Greatness. And I really did enjoy that. It was in his own style. Like I could hear him speaking, but he had a lot of, it's not a but, and he had a lot of knowledge and a lot of great tidbits in there. And I'm really super proud to see somebody just having so many different streams of income and now adding books to his repertoire.
Okay, I'm adding that to my reading list.
I gotta look. I heard it was really good. I heard the audiobook is good, because I think he does the audio himself, right? So again, this is The Wealth Effect with Jason Allen John and Nicole Williams. We have Laideen Dockery on the line, and we're gonna go into a break now, but we'll be back for some more stuff. You know, excited to have you on, Laideen.
Hi, this is Michelle Young, and you're listening to iLive Radio, supporting independent artists from all around.
This is Ronnie Sia, and you're listening to iLive Radio. iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. Listen to radio. Listen to radio.
It goes down right here on iLive Radio.
Yo, this is Razan here, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way we listen to radio.
What's up, everybody? This is Cy Smith, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
My beautiful people, it's your man Tayanis, and right now you got it locked to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio around the world, baby.
Nothing makes you look, feel, and perform better than a tailor-made suit. Just like a tailor-made suit, a mortgage is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Canadian Tailored Mortgage Solutions will customize a mortgage to perfectly suit your needs. Come and get fitted for your mortgage today at 1-877-834-9346 or reach us on the web at ctmortgagesolutions.com. COVID safety protocols are in place. Brokerage license number 13228.
This is Miss Care, keeping you connected with your iLive 555. Brought to you by iLive Music. Sponsored by Independent Hype and powered by The Hook Entertainment. Contribute to the conversation by using hashtag iLive555.
For the latest and greatest in soul music and more, stay tuned to iLive Radio throughout the week.
Connect with our team at iliveradio.com or follow us at iLive Radio across social platforms.
You're listening to iLive Radio.
Here are some words of wisdom. Don't change your station. Don't change your station.
What's up? We're back. The Wealth Effect with Jason Allen John and Nicole Williams. we got Laideen Dockery on the line. So Laideen, I just want to know, I met you through Nicole.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know how you guys met. But I've seen you guys on like social media. You talked about your spa dates and your girly stuff. And I love that. I was raised by women, so I respect that. But I'm curious to know how you guys met and and tell me about it. And you guys work together, but tell me more about it.
Yes. So Laideen and I have known each other for years, it feels like, really, really years. So it started off with
my ex-husband.
Laideen's ex-husband. Yeah. I was trying to say, how should I be politically correct with this? Yeah. Laideen's ex-husband and my husband are friends. And then through that, we grew our own relationship that was outside of their friendship.
Right.
And, I realized that really early on that we were very similar in our styles, very similar in our, what we want to do for the community. And then when, I realized that she was also a boss in her financial space, and I said, hey, let's just work together and partner, because so often clients will come to me, they're not fully ready. They don't know where to start. So I said, okay, well, if you can help them because she's really great at helping people budget, plan, put savings together, and then at least I can have that client in my pipeline for the next year, 2 years, whatever it is. And then we make them full and whole circle. And I started to realize, okay, well, you know what? Our energies are super, dope together. Right? In a nutshell, that's pretty much. But we've probably known each other maybe about 15 or so years.
Yeah.
So you guys basically kind of went independent. When were you independent? Who went independent?
So I went independent first.
Okay.
Before Laideen did, but she was still in the financial field, but she was still working her other job, right?
Okay.
So when she decided now to really take it on full time, by then I had already started, independently. And I was like, okay, well, this is how we can, partner. And for me, it's a win-win because I'm really working with somebody that I love to work with. We are great friends outside of just working together. And if I can support her, she can support me. It really helps to elevate both of our businesses. And from there, we've even created additional businesses, which we're going to get into today with the Money Boss Up, right?
Absolutely.
So she's a boss, you're a boss, and you guys are trying to have a whole bunch of bosses.
A bunch of bosses.
Absolutely.
Okay,
I love that, Jason. That's exactly what we're doing.
Yes. Because after we realized how synergistic we were with one another, and our styles were, Laideen is she's very different than I am, but we're still very similar in the sense, right? Yeah. She's, as she said, she's a numbers person. She's really to the T, whereas I'm a little bit more of a glossed over kind of approach. She isn't, she's very specific with how she does things, and I love it. And then, we had this vision of creating Money Boss Up, and Laideen probably want to get into the introduction of how we did, or how we came up with the idea, and then the fact that we did launch it in 2018.
Right. So Money Boss Up, this is our baby, Nicole and I's baby. We decided that, we're so gung-ho about financial literacy. We have a mission of educating the community, and we had been doing that individually for some time. And then we said, you know what, why don't we partner up together and really focus on bringing information to the forefront, right? Financial literacy to the forefront. We spoke about it, and we were just having a conversation, and we were like, I wish, the thing is with our clients, one is really good in this area, and then another client is really good in this area. And what we were saying is, imagine if we could get people together that are really good in their own strengths, because sometimes it's great hearing it from your advisor or hearing it from your broker, but if you hear it from your peers, what they're doing, what's working for them, then it creates this atmosphere of basically winning, right? So we said, okay, let's get something together where we can bring others in on the conversations that we have, and just let this conversation flow around financial literacy. And so we really thought about, okay, let's look at the building blocks of financial literacy, everything that you need to know, the basics, and start getting this information out to people.
So yeah, that's exactly. So we've created, it's a really intimate group. So we don't like to have too many participants at any given time, simply because we know that we are sharing sensitive information for a lot of people. And we wanted to have like that kitchen table type conversation. So we're always gathered around a nice big table. Now with COVID, it's going to be virtual, but we sit around the table and we kind of just chop it up. You know, Laideen and I will talk about different concepts. So one session is about money mindset and why that is, you know, super critical to helping individuals build and formulate wealth. You know, we talk about debt management, different investment strategies. We talk about estate planning. We bring in even a lawyer who offers options for people to help create wills and power of attorney. We talk about tax strategies.
Nice.
And I'm happy to say that this going forward, we have entered, we're adding business finance. So we always talked about business finance, but it was usually a part of a gloss over of one of the other sections. Now we're creating a specific section that will talk about business finance. And the reason for that is we are realizing that the vast majority of our past attendees have all either been in the beginning parts of their entrepreneurial journey, or they had desires to become entrepreneurs. So, we're going to be adding the sixth segment to our session, and we're so excited.
That's amazing. Like I've been watching you guys since you guys started doing it, and I'm impressed. And I love to see that the education going further, right? So I'm curious, like, how has the success been for your students that have passed through? Like, since you guys are like, what, year 3, is it, or 4?
Sixth cohort.
Yes, so sixth cohort.
Sixth cohort
and 4 years. 3 years. 2018 to 20.
Yeah.
So let's go back to just some of your first cohort, and I'm sure it was a rush for you guys, but like, have you seen anything from that?
100%. Okay. Like, I can say this with all confidence. Our past students will echo what we're saying. If we look back to just the first cohort, okay, from there we had, I'm just going off of memory. Okay. So one student went on to create massive festivals that are known globally. Okay, I'm not going to say anybody's names because obviously of privacy, right? Global festivals. One student that came in, lots of debt eliminated. 100% now is on the wealth building piece. Another student came in with goals of wanting to be a homeowner. So happy that we were able to do a full circle moment. She is now a homeowner, her and her family. We have one student that came in, he was already an investor, but he just never had his things structured correctly. We've helped him to put in proper things into place that actually now, where we can say it's a viable business, not just, it's not just, you putting in money, but you're calling yourself an investor, but there's no cash flow, and this is just a few of them. There's other amazing people that have come in and they're now holding big spaces within the Canadian sphere. And I will leave that because one of them will be one of our guests, and maybe she'll share some of her experience as well. And this is a lot of things that we've done. So the goal of Money Boss Up wasn't just about being a raw event or a raw moment, because that was what Laideen and I wanted to ensure was different. There were a lot of events that were happening around the time where we created Money Boss Up that were, women empowerment type of events. You go for an afternoon, you go for high tea, you felt riled up for the day, and then it all fizzled out. So we were like, we wanted to have real, tangible results in our students.
So that's why you guys spread it out?
And that's why we spread it out. It was very strategic. They say that it takes about 90 days of someone doing something consistent for it to become a habit. So it was very strategic in us being with our group for at least in excess of the 90 days. In addition to us meeting once a month, we do have private groups where we, have free flow of conversations throughout the month to keep people engaged. We do have, it's an actual full-on curriculum. We have a reading list. There's homework you have to do. We start off by telling people an example, list out all, tell us what your net worth is, go through all of your debts, all of your assets, let's mark it down. And then we do a tracker. So where you started versus where you end at the end of our session. And then even a year later, Laideen and I will check in just to say, hey, how are things going? And this is why we are able to tell you with all honesty that our students have definitely all bossed up because we track the actual metrics.
That's amazing. And like for everybody that's out here and listening to that, again, it goes back to what we talked about. It's all about planning and putting together a structure in place, working with the professionals to give you that blueprint and just follow something. And you guys are onto something really good. I want to see it blow up or boss up, as we should probably say it. But just before we got about 4 minutes left, and I don't want to just always talk about the things that we're working on, but Laideen, tell me just some stuff that you are looking forward to in 2021 and beyond, and what you kind of see with society and the economy, and what you kind of forecast, or I hate saying the word forecast because it's hard in our industry.
Yeah, exactly.
What trends are you seeing? Maybe that's the better word.
So I think it's more of a continued trend that I think is going to happen with this this interest in financial literacy.
Okay.
I feel that even after the pandemic, something has really sparked here. We've had that downtime where people have really been able to kind of take a stock of their finances and understand what it is that they're wanting to achieve. And I think that will continue once the pandemic is over. We don't know when that will be, but once it's over, I do see that continuing to trend forward. Now, for Laideen Co Financial Group, we're looking at expansion. So really what we're looking at doing at this point is I'm focused on building out a team of advisors who are like-minded and who are also, committed to seeing the growth of wealth in the community. And so that we can provide advice on a larger scale and bring it more to the masses so that we can continue to just provide that advice, that authentic and
holistic
transparent advice, right? With integrity, advice with integrity on a larger scale. That's really the goals for 2021.
Yes.
That's amazing. And, it's, we're glad to have you on.
Yeah.
You guys check out Nicole and Laideen and the Money Boss Up.
So before we do wrap up, I do want to say that we are currently accepting new students into our 6th cohort. Yeah. We do start in March. There is some early bird pricing that is available. So if you do want more information, check us out on IG.
At Money Boss Up Inc.
Money Boss Up Inc. Thank you.
All right.
And you can also email us as well at info@moneybossup.com. Any questions that you have, we're sure to answer them. And we look forward to having our new 6th cohort running smoothly and having some amazing people come out of it as well.
Yes.
And congratulations, continued success, guys. And, we just want to wrap up the show. This is The Wealth Effect with Jason Allen John and Nicole Williams. We have Laideen Dockery on the line, and she shared so much information.
Yes.
Check her out. Financial planning is key. Life insurance is key.
Yes.
It's all part of the holistic financial plan. And we're excited to bring you guys more episodes.
Thank you, guys. Happy Saturday.